Hey, Art of Drumming community, it's Andy here, and today let's change some drum heads. Changing drum heads can be a very time-consuming thing if the only tool you have is a drum key like this. And since with what we do with the Recreating Iconic Drum Sounds series, sampling stuff and whatever, we need to change drum heads all the time. So we managed to find a process that really works for us and some tools that just make stuff easier. And in this video, I'm just going to take you through our process and show you 3 tools that hopefully will save you some time. So let's just get started. So for now, let's grab this Gergo Borlai signature snare drum, and let's say we just want to switch the pre-installed factory head for something else. Let's say we want to go with the fiber skin for just, it looks nice and it sounds good. So first thing we need to do is remove the drum head. And I guess you know, if you have a drum key like this, it's gonna last forever. So, favorite tool for us, those little drill bits by Evans. I mean, those exist, I think, from different manufacturers, but the one we use is the Evans drill bit. And just as you can see, this is so much faster. And if you need to do a complete drum kit, this will save you an awful lot of time. So, once again, important thing, don't go around like this. Go across and loosen the tension rods one by one, trying to keep the tension around the drum still as even as possible. Because if you just loosen one side first and then the other one, it might bend, and that's just something you really want to avoid. Done. As easy as that. And this, I mean, that's a very basic thing, but it will save you a lot of time. Now, let's bring a new drum head in, put it on, the microphone out of the way. Make sure it's aligned correctly. For reinstalling drum heads, you of course can also use a drill, but for this part, make sure to be very careful, since it's pretty easy to damage your lugs or the tension rods when applying too much pressure with a drill. So for now, let's just switch to the second tool I want to show you, the Protean Drum Key. This is the Protean Drum Key by Sonar. And yes, there are quite a few drum keys around that have like a little end on top here that you can twist it like this. But for me, or for us, in general, this is just the drum key that works best. What's really cool about it is that you can just turn it like this, and it's super quick to get all the tension rods in. Before even touching the wings of the drum key, just stay on top with your fingers, get those in to like a finger-tight scenario, and you'll have a pretty even starting point to go on tuning. And it is just as easy as that. Once again. Okay, so now we're in a finger-tight position all the way around. No screws are completely loose. So you know you have a bit of tension all around, and now you can just start tuning basically. If you don't want to bring in 2 tools for like the drill bit and the drum key, you could also go with this remote drum key. You can use it like this end on top here is designed to work as a drill bit. So you can also just like get it into the drill. and then you have this rubber part up here that works just as the Protean key. For me personally, I prefer the feel of this one and I like the smaller drum key, but that's like up to your personal taste. If you want to have just one key with you and it's larger so you don't lose it that quick, then go with this one. It will do the job just as fine. Now let's bring in the third tool. And this little helper here is a Tunebot. And I get asked about those and drum dials and whatever tools all the time. So it's about time we talk about it. Because we use the Tunebot a lot when it comes to snare drum comparisons, drum head comparisons, or if we really want to recreate a certain tuning. So for example, let's say you're on tour, you play the same show every night, your sound guy has just dialed in all the EQs and compression, and you want to change the head but give him or her the same signal every night. In those scenarios, of course, bringing a Tunebot in will really help you out, because this is kind of the only way you can make sure that you have the same tuning night after night after night after night. And even if you bring in new drum heads, you can make sure that they sound exactly the same, and yeah, your audio engineer will just thank you forever. On the other hand, for me personally, if I'm just like tuning a drum so it sounds good, I'd not use a Tunebot, because then I'm just gonna trust my ear what sounds good. But for really reproducing a sound, for really making sure it sounds the exact same than it did before, this is a great tool. And now, since the drum head is on, let me just show you how it works. Let's bring the microphone back in so you can also hear what's happening. Just turn it on. And I think I'm just gonna have to increase the tension around the whole drum a little from this still pretty loose situation. Okay, so I've brought up the drum all the way around with the same amount of turns on every screw. So it should be in around an even tension. But now, if we tap, close to every tension rod or to each lug, you'll see that one might be a little higher than the other one. Now if you compare the Tunebot to a drum dial, for example, Tunebot works with a tone, a frequency, while the drum dial and others work with the tension of the drum head next to every screw. So what the Tunebot might help you a little more with is if you use a different drum head and you want to have it at the same pitch, Tunebot will come in a lot more handy, since it looks for the pitch and not the tension, because the tension might be different with a drum head that's just built different. So yeah, for me the Tunebot worked out very well so far. So let's say you have Tunebot settings stored from your last gig and it was 250 Hertz. So let's just continue until we get there. We're at 234 right now. Just gonna add a little more everywhere. You might notice that I'm going around and not across by now, since it's just minor turns. That also works. 246. Getting close. Also keep in mind that if you're looking for one screw that's like pretty low, it will affect all the others. So if you have one screw that's just like at 249 and you want to go to 250, maybe it's just turning the one that's lowest and it will bring all the others up. So that's basically it. So to recap the whole thing, drill bits are great for a quick drumhead change. Drum keys like this one help you to get to a finger-tight position very quick without making your hands dirty with all the lubricant and everything. Also, they just feel great. And bring in a Tunebot, a drum dial, or whatever tool you want to use will help you to recreate a tuning you had on a previous show, on a previous recording. Maybe if you play around with a certain snare drum and you just feel like it works best at 250 Hertz. Store those settings. Don't forget about the reso head. Also store a reso head setting. And it will be easy to just like reproduce the tuning. And if you have to do a whole drum kit, it will save you a lot of time if you can quickly remove drum heads, put them back on, get them to a fingerside position, start tuning, and also if you have an aim to go for. What are your favorite tools, or what techniques do you use when changing drum heads, when tuning drums, when you have to deal with installing heads? Let's know in the comments, and I hope to see you in one of the next videos.